Good day, everyone. Today I'm going to discuss the chapter 4, which is the validity and reliability. And the intended learning outcomes, or the ILO, at the end of the chapter 4, the students are expected to cite evidences of validity and reliability in teacher-made tests. This chapter, we're going to differentiate or what is the distinction of the validity and reliability and how it is correlate to each other. Let's proceed. Validity. Validity is a term derived from the Latin word validus, meaning strong. In the view of assessment, it is deemed valid if it measures what is supposed to. If it measures what is supposed to. An assessment is valid if it measures a student's actual knowledge and performance with respect to the intended outcomes and not something else. For instance, measuring arithmetic for grade 4 students, and this topic will be taught for the grade 1, and it is invalid because of the issue of the content and the level of performance, since it is only a grade 1 pupils, and the topic is more advanced, and this is what they assess is not invalid, because it talks about here, it measures what it is supposed to, and there, letter A, content related evidence. So the content related evidence. Content related evidence for validity pertains to the extent to which the test covers the entire domain of the content. It pertains to the extent to which the test covers the entire domain of the context. This is done through adequate sampling content. For example, is that the summative test, where in a first quarter, if there are 4 topics that you have taught to your pupils, then each of the topic must have magkukuha ka doon, magkukuha ka doon in each chapter or each topic, to assess if a certain student had learned from your discussion. For example, is this if the 80% of your assessment or the test ay nakapasa sila, then that is their actual knowledge, and that is valid. We have here the face validity is based on the subject opinion of the one reviewing it. The subjective opinion of the one reviewing it. For instance, is this a test for to assess the cognitive skill of a student, and how they use the proper construction of a sentence, how to use the adjectives, something like in English and in mathematics, how to apply or how to use the a basic operations that we basically use, in adding, subtracting, dividing, and so on. Laguta sa share it, oy. Next is the instructional validity, the extent to which an assessment is systematically sensitive to the nature of instruction offered. So from the word itself, instructional, instruction. So it is how a student, no, how a student can understand the instruction. This assessment, a teacher give this to how a student follow what is being instruction to them. No, halimbawa na lang nito is that my experience to my high school days, that the instruction there was answer me not. Then if you answer that, you are wrong. But if your paper is clean and there is no other writings put in there, then you're perfect. You get perfect because the instruction was like that. No, it is important to the student and how to follow the instruction that the teacher has given to them. Next is table of specification. Is a test blueprint that identifies the content area and describes the learning outcomes at each level of cognitive domain. It is so important that a teacher has a table of specification toward the the level of the performance of the students. No, this is the planning on how one can cater the level of their intelligence, the level of performance, since individual has a different level and diversity. No? That is what we so call diversity in one classroom. Therefore, it is important to have a table of specification. So we will proceed, and this is the sample table of specification. I am not longer put the the example, and this is about the Curry specified 6 elements in TOS development, not to develop the table of specifications. And number 1, we have the balance among the goals selected for the examination. It is important to have balance, the equilibrium. No, there is the differentiate between unity and balance, or fairness and balance. So this is specified that balance among the goals selected for the examination. So whatever a student needed, you have to cater that, in different instructional type of test assessment that can meet the very goal of a student. Next is we have balance among the levels of learnings. So as what I have said, that there are different levels of learning. So student, there is a slow learner, fast learner, and there is average. And you have to make sure that the assessment or the test you have given to them can meet the level of their learning, hindi sila maboboring, hindi sila ma-exhaust, but yung valid, the word valid, that make them improve their learning. no, the test format, no, the specified 6 elements, no, the test format. You have to review, to no, to analyze what test, no, ang mayroon ka na format, if it is tama ba sa time, no, and dito mapapasok yung SMART, no, specific, measurable, and other, no, especially the time boundness. No, next is the total number of items, no, dapat yung total number of items, no, as I have experienced last year, the teacher in 200 items above, no, and it's only for one hour, and there is enumerations, and gabi ka exhausting, no, you have to specify, you have to make clear, dapat accurate yung mga assessment na ginagawa mo. Number 5 is the number of items for each goal and level of learning, no? If it is hard, then give sa feeling natin na makakaya ng ating estudyante, because as a teacher, we should know and we must know the capabilities of our student, no? Sa ilang mga araw pa naman natin nakasama yung mga students natin, and therefore alam natin, at hindi pa natin alamin talaga natin, no, to meet that standard, to meet the goal we are nang gusto natin mangyari, no. 6, the enabling skills to be selected from each goal framework. We have to know that it is a power test or a speed test, no? A power test is intended to measure the range of the student's capacity in particular area, that opposed to speed test that is characterized by time pressure. No, we have to evaluate our assessment, no, to make it valid. And time requirements for certain assessment tasks, no, there is a type of questions and time required to answer, no, para mas lalong magiging valid, strong yung ating assessment, no. Type of test questions, meron ditong true, false, since madali lang yung i-analyze, madali lang gawin, so 20 to 30 seconds. Modified true or false, sentence completion, one word fill in, that it takes 1 minute. Multiple choice with 4 responses, and so on, no, ito yon. Kaya if we have only 1 hour and 30 minutes, no, atin yung i-exact, no, i-exact natin yung ating assessment, no, dapat hindi mag-excess sa time, hindi rin magkulang sa time, no, because pag ito ay magkulang, it reduces the validity, no, it reduces the validity. But ito na may sumobra, no, baka hindi makaya ng estudyante, and it is not valid, no, dahil hindi naman lahat na sagot ng estudyante. Kaya meron tayo nito a guide, no, to how to make assessment na magiging valid talaga. Now, letter B, we have criterion related evidences. No, from the word criterion, it is the criteria. A teacher, how you critique your student as a rater, as a a teacher that makes judgment to the students based sa ilang performance, based sa ilang mga school works, school activity, no? And there are three types of criteria according to Nitko and Brookhart 2011. Number one, we have the achievement test score. Second is the ratings grades and other numerical judgment made by the teacher. And the last is the career data. No, these three are types of criteria on how a teacher judge his or her students. No, the achievement test score. Of course, as a teacher, you have to have a rate. You have to have a what to achieve of a student. No, in 100%, it must be 80 or 75. No, achievement test score and the ratings grades and numerical judgment made by teacher and career data. And there are two types of criterion related evidence. No? We have concurrent validity, provides an estimate of a student's current performance in relation to a previously validated or established method. So from the word concurrent, no? Sa ngayon, no, the current performance, the actual performance of a student, the actual performance of the students or the current performance of a student, no? Makikita natin doon at tinatawag natin concurrent validity. Next is the predictive validity, pertains to the power of usefulness of test score to predict future performance, no? Halimbawa nito ay yung college entrance test, no? Or set, no? Dito natin ma-predict, no? If ano yung level ng understanding ng bata, ano yung level ng capacity ng bata, ano yung level ng ability ng isang bata, no? Kaya in public schools, ano yung nakuha mo is if you got a higher or highest scores, then you can choose whatever you want because diyan nakikita na be-based that kaya mo ang isang bagay o kaya mo ang magiging teacher, magiging nursing, and it is what we call predictive, no? Doon pa lang sa assessment na binibigay, alam natin na may kakayahan ng isang bata o estudyante. While in concurrent validity, yung GPA mo, nung nakaraan, where is the GPA, no? Nung high school natin na sinasabi pa nga natin na bright ako noon, no? Maayo ko sa high school, but college is very draining, no? Diyan natin mabibase, pero makikita pa rin natin na valid yun dahil eyewitness, no? Makikita ko rin sa mga klase ko that there is potential talaga, no? Na magiging teacher sila, even though they don't have that much confidence, but no, in intellectual matter aspect, no, meron talaga, no? Pearson correlation coefficient or Spearman's one order correlation, ito yung ginagamit nila, no? And this is the formula to determine the coefficient, no? The square of correlation coefficient, ito yung ginagamit nila. So, letter C is the construct-related evidences. Construct-related evidences of validity is an assessment of the quality of instrument used. Now, there are three types of construct-related evidence. Number one is theoretical. That means that the construct must be operational, defined, or explained explicitly to differentiate it from other constructs. Construct-related evidence of validity is an assessment of quality of instrument use. So when we say constructivism, no, you have to motivate your students. While it is quiet, sabi, kagari. You're not only teaching the subject you have mastered about, no. You have to motivate your students, no, on how to, for example, in mathematics, on how to solve that certain problem you have given them. And also in real life, you have also the instinct, no, instinct to motivate your student, no, not only in the academic matter, but in real life. And we have this theoretical. This means that the construct must be operationally defined or explained explicitly to differentiate it from other constructs. And there are two methods establishing contract validity. First is convergent validity. Occurs when measures of constructs that are related are in fact observed to be related, while divergent or discriminant validity occurs when constructs that are unrelated are in reality observed not to be. So we have this unified concept of validity. Integrates considerations of content, criteria, and consequences into a construct framework for the empirical testing of rational hypotheses about score meaning and theoretically relevant relationship. There are six distinct aspects of construct validity: the content, the substantive, structural, generalizability, external, and consequential. Validity of assessment methods in choosing the activity, no? C. Maskell, 2003, has laid down 5 recommendations. First is the selected performance should reflect a valued activity. No? The completion of performance assessment should provide a valuable meaning experience. The statement of goals and objectives should be clearly aligned with the measurable outcomes of the performance activity. The task should not examine external or unintended variables. And lastly, performance assessment should be fair and free from bias. So these are the threats to validity according to Millian Lin Granlund. Identified 10 factors that affect validity of assessment results. No? Number 1 is the unclear test direction. No, it must be clear, no, to the student ang direction na binibigay natin. No? Dahil let's use the word na madaling i-understand ng mga bata, no? Unlike sa yung na-experience ko noon that ginagamit yung mga sinasabi ng lalum na word, no, to make the student amazed, or di ko alam anong rason nila kung bakit yung word na yun ginagamit nila, where in fact there are many synonymous, no, words that can make the student understand ng madalian. No? Number 2 is complicated vocabulary and sentences structure. So, sabi ko nga, as what I have said earlier that answer me not. So, as na bugo-bugo English, no, nang I have doubts, o mga I have doubts na, or hindi ko talaga yun na na notice yung direction na binibigay ng teacher, but no, it is important talaga. Next is the ambiguous statements, inadequate time limits, inappropriate level of difficulty of test item, poorly constructed test items, inappropriate test items for outcomes being measured, short test, improper arrangement of items, and identifiable pattern of answers. And this is the threats to validity, no, na talagang hindi mamimit ng estudyante pag ito ay ina-apply natin, no. As a future educator, we must have to understand, no, talagang isa sa utak natin yung CPE, dahil ito'y talagang magagamit natin in our future or to our future. We have already discussed the validity, and now let's proceed to reliability. Reliability talks about reproducibility and consistency and criteria. No? An assessment is said to be reliable if it produces the same results if given to examinee one or two occasions. No? Halimbawa na lang nito is that if you give your student an assessment test, no? If the result is paulit-ulit at consistent siya, then matatawag natin na reliable ang isang assessment, no? There are types of reliability: the internal reliability and the external reliability. The internal reliability assesses the consistency of results across items within a test, while external gauges the extent to which a measure varies from one use to another. And these are the sources of reliability evidence. For one, we have stability, stable, equivalence, equal, eternal consistency, scorer or rater consistency, decision consistency. No, if the result of the assessment, the result of the performance of the student is consistent, then matatawag natin siyang reliable. So in measuring the errors, ito yung formula natin ginagamit. No, the x is equal to t plus e, where x is the observation, no, and the t is the true value, and the e is some measurement value. So my question is, how it is, or how is it assessed, no? The reliability and the validity. So the reliability, by checking the consistency of results across the different observers and across parts of the test itself, while validity, by checking how well the results correspond to established theories and other measures of the same concept. So how they relate, no? How the validity and reliability relate. So a valid measurement is generally reliable if a test produces accurate results. They should be reproducible. While reliability, a reliable measurement is not always valid. The results might be reproducible, but they are not necessarily correct. Therefore, a reliable method is not a valid method, but a valid one is automatically a reliable one. Thank you for listening.